Welcome to another episode of the Nashville Scoop. I'm Chris McKenna.
I'm Craig Candage.
And this week we went to Bartaco on 12 South in Nashville. So it was kind of, we did this as like a dual day where last week we did the Christie's crumble thing. The whole plan was we'll go grab lunch, we'll go get some cookies, do it all at the same time. They're essentially right next door to each other. I think there's like one thing in between.
There's a small boutique in between, a street and a small boutique in between.
Yeah.
It's about 20 feet from each other, really, 30 feet maybe.
Yep. So tacos, some taco bowls. It's got some other things there. So I guess to start out, do you want to talk about like how you can get in and things like that?
Absolutely.
Like what you use?
So this 12 South in general is a very touristy street. There's a lot of good stuff to do on there. And so this is a really hot spot for lunch. And so they have an app where you basically call ahead, but you hold your place in line on the app, and then
it's
when
not
you
a
get there,
reservation, but like a waiting list.
Correct.
Type thing.
Correct. And essentially, unless you go there in person and then tell them that who you are and that they'll recognize that you held a spot.
Right.
Then they'll start the process of actually putting you ahead of people or sitting you down.
Right.
Other than that, you're kind of just like putting yourself on a waiting list.
Okay.
But it is a difference at times of getting in like an hour sooner.
Right. Because I think when we did it, I think at first it was like it said a 30-minute wait.
30-minute wait.
We walked right in. They sat us right down. So
Yep.
And it was busy, but it wasn't like overcrowded or anything like that. I think the entire outside was pretty much open. It was like half full.
It was half full. By the time we left, it was completely full.
Yep.
I mean, the restaurant itself was about half full when we got there just before 12.
Mm-hmm.
And at restaurants here, when 12 hits, because of business lunches and things like that, they're just slammed.
Packed,
so I just got used to eating here at like 11:30 for lunch if I wanted to go out and not wait around.
Yeah, makes sense.
So by the time we left, it was pretty full. But we got there just before 12 and sat immediately.
Mm-hmm. And we sat down, drinks. What'd you get? You got a sweet tea?
I got a carafe of sweet tea, $4. It's really enough for two people. They'll bring you one cup with ice. Just ask for another. They're really good about that.
Yep. And it was one of those days, so I had to get a drink, actual drink.
Yes.
So, I got something called, and again, like whenever we do these, I always try and get like some sort of like a special drink, not just like a regular thing that you could order anywhere. So I picked one of their specials, and it was called the Old Timer. That one was a Four Roses bourbon, had some vermouth, thyme, lemon, orange, bitters. So a little bit like an old fashioned.
Like an old fashioned?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was great. It was really good. It's really good drink. I had no problems with it at all. Everything tasted fine. So drinks.
How much was that drink?
I think it was like $14. So
yeah, pretty. I mean, for any tourist spot around here,
exactly.
Pretty average.
Yep, it's what we're seeing is all those prices right in the $13 to $15 area once you're in downtown Nashville,
exactly.
like actually in the city itself. So,
Mm-hmm.
So we got the drinks. Then we got what was it? Chips and salsa.
We got chips and salsa, and they have three different options for that. They have a guacamole. They have a verde, which is like a green kind of pepper type salsa, which anyone that knows like a salsa verde would know that. And then a rojas, and that's what this one was. This was the red one of the three.
It was good.
It was real good. It's got a little kick to it, which is nice.
A little bit of a kick. The thing that I thought was cool was the chips. They're not chips like you would typically see delivered to your table. They actually come in the full tortilla, and you have to break off the chip yourself.
They give you like 4, but they will come by if they see you running low and say, "Do you need more?" And they'll bring you another 4 or 5 after that.
As long as you have the salsa.
These chips. So the first time I ever went there, it reminded me of. If any of you out there are Catholic and go to Mass, the priest, when he holds up the Eucharist, the wafer, and he's got the huge one before he breaks it apart.
Right.
That's what it reminds me of, that size.
Yes, that's accurate. Yep. So, but yeah, no, it was good. I thought the salsa was great, and like you said, a little bit of a kick. It wasn't
a good kick though.
Yeah,
like it was a good flavorful.
So I
spice.
like spice a lot. So I love it when things are hot and spicy. So to me, I mean, again, you might have thought something different. I didn't really feel like it was spicy. I thought that So, and I'm gonna have something to compare it to in a minute here.
Okay.
But for me, that salsa was, it had a kick. You know,
Right.
it was fine.
And I guess when I'm saying spicy, there's a lot of out there that who just do like that fresh pico.
Yeah, and
there's not. You get like
you don't get
cilantro and
anything.
lime more so than you get like a kick.
There was something in this.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't just a plain, like you said, like a plain pico or anything like that.
It was phenomenal little starter though.
Yep. Absolutely. It's perfect.
They serve everything on kind of these like a little rectangle aluminum trays. Those are their dishes for the most part. So you got that on one. They give you a couple extras just to have as side dishes, and then everything you get comes on those as well.
Yep. Yeah, it was really good. The way that you order is a little bit different there as well. Ordering and paying and things. I personally haven't done this at any place before, so it was a little new to me.
I've seen it in a few places, how you do this, the menu especially, but as far as the paying and the ordering and all that, right. They do it a little bit different, and I actually think it's super convenient because they give you 3 options. It's one person pays for everything, split the meal, so you kind of pay for yourself, and the other person pays for themselves.
I was kind of wondering, yeah, so there are the 3 options. It's like you said, like one person paying for everything, and then you can say, I'm not paying.
Or I'm not paying, and somebody else has
somebody else is paying.
So if there's like say 3 or 4 people,
right?
You know, one person doesn't have to pay for everyone, but they can pay for somebody else, and then just everyone pays for themselves.
Like maybe after about 5-6 drinks, you can kind of sneak
it over into someone else. I don't know if you can change it.
Somebody else in the table's paying for this one. Sorry, I don't know. I haven't tried it.
And I mean, you can always order it and put it on yours that way, and then give it to someone else.
Right. But it was super convenient for sure. I mean, obviously, like with COVID and the way that everybody changed the way that everything was in restaurants, you get all the QR codes for menus and things like that.
And that's what this is. You take a picture of it, QR code, you hit it, it comes up, get some information from you as far as like sign in and all that. They ask for your credit card number just to have that on file so you don't walk out. And then you go to the menu and you order it right there and you hit order.
And it's done.
And it's literally at your table in 5 minutes.
I mean, another great thing, too, is like with a lot of the staffing shortages and things like that, like this is great because you don't have to wait for somebody to come over to your table. Like they do. And actually, they do come over, and they came over like plenty.
I was just going to say that. So, you know, everywhere else, you know, everyone's complaining about lack of attention.
Right.
And they come over. You know, so they have a method of doing it where you put a little card on top of this thing, and if they see that, they'll come over.
Right.
But if they see a drink running low or chips running low or just you stalling or anything, they'll come over and just, hey, do you want anything else? You know, how can I help you?
It was perfect. I mean, you had best of both worlds. You had the convenience of ordering it yourself, but then you also had the wait staff that came over. And I say the wait staff because there were 3 or maybe even 4 different people at some point were over at our table checking on us.
They all kind of help each other out, and so nobody gets ignored, which is nice. I
mean, we did have the one main waitress that came over multiple times, but then at certain times other people were walking by and they're like, hey, can we fill this, can we fill that, you know?
Or take an empty plate so they're not cluttering the table, things like that too.
Yeah, so it was great. I mean, the service was fantastic. We got, like we said, we got right in. You know, we used the app, so maybe we wouldn't have. Maybe we would have had a small wait, but we did. We got right in. We sat right down. We immediately had drinks. We had our appetizers were there, and then within, I don't know, less than 5 minutes of ordering, we had our food.
Yep.
It was fast.
It was quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was real quick.
Yeah, they did a good job. So, so then we got our food. What did you get? You didn't get tacos. I think you got a bowl, right?
So I got a bowl. I've had every taco that they offer there and ones that have been on other secret menus and things like that, you know, in the past. I like the bowls personally. It kind of gets everything done at one time. So I got like a tuna tataki bowl. So like just a raw tuna and over rice, and they have this little salad mix that they do that goes really well with the rice, and it's got their own little seasonings and sauces and things on top. It's really good, and that one bowl fills you up.
Nice.
And it's the only thing I think I've ever had at any restaurant that looks exactly like the photo that they advertise the actual meal. Like it looked good. Yeah, it's an impressive looking
presentation
bowl.
Was good.
Presentation was amazing.
We took pictures, right?
We did.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll have those pictures up as we're talking about it on the YouTube page. So, anything else you got to say about that meal?
I mean, as
general.
far as Mexican in this area anyway, Mexican food's amazing.
Yep.
It's really good here, and this is one of those places. It's not. It's kind of in between a Americanized Mexican food and like an authentic Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
It's not
It's
like
accurate,
a street taco, but it's not Mojo's, who is more definitely Americanized and very good
Yes.
for what they do.
Yes.
It's kind of in between.
Yep. And I'm about to talk a little bit of a comparison between Mojo's as well. I'm going to go through sort of what I got, and then I'm like on the fence about certain things.
Okay.
So the three things, I got 3 tacos. First one was a Baja fish, which I also got at Mojo's as well. Just basic, what does it say? Spicy tempura, cod, chipotle slaw. So it was good. I have nothing bad to say about that one. I'll go back a little bit more in depth in a second. So then I got a chili lime shrimp. This one had a little bit of a spicier salsa.
Okay.
And then one that isn't currently on like the everyday menu, brisket taco.
Okay.
So we'll go with the Baja fish. So I got Baja fish at both. So I had it at Mojo's as well. I'm going to be honest. Mojo's is better, I think, with the Baja fish, but not saying anything bad about Bartaco, because the fish that you got in this taco was actually really good. It was one big piece of cod that was in it. Sometimes you'll get like smaller pieces fried and things like that, and you don't really get a ton of fish with it. It's really a lot of batter. You got a really good piece of fish with this taco. So that part, great. The thing with me is I like sauce, right? So like the toppings that come on things. And I feel like the sauce at Mojo's was tastier, was a little bit better. And again, I would order the Baja fish at Bartaco again. Right. It's good. But if I'm going to pick between the two, I'm taking Mojo's.
I think when you're doing something like a fish taco, it's all about the sauce anyway. I mean, obviously, everyone pretty much has the same piece of fish.
It can be. Yeah. I mean, I
mean, they don't all have the same, but I mean, the sauce is what makes it.
But again, like I said
different.
too, is like some places will give you those like really small pieces of fish that are battered, and like the batter is going to take up 80% of that space, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas this one, if I'm going to pick the fish, just base this off of fish, I'm going to pick Bartaco, but okay. I'm a little bit more of like the sauce to go with the fish, because the fish taste wise is what it is. I mean, typically if you're going to nicer places, the cod is going to taste like cod,
right? And these are a little bit smaller tacos compared to Mojo's as well.
Yes.
They're probably about
Mojo's
half
bigger.
The size, I would say.
Yeah, they're smaller for sure. But yeah, just based off of the sauce, I would probably pick Mojo's over Bartaco for that. Then we had the brisket, which I also had at Mojo's as well. Taking the brisket at Bartaco. Absolutely.
I agree with that one. Yeah. I've had both too, and
yes.
it is better.
It is. The sauce is a little bit better at Mojo's, but the sauce didn't mean anything with this.
I felt like the brisket was more moist. I felt like it was like a better piece of brisket.
The brisket itself, like how we were just saying, like you get a piece of cod, you get a piece of cod for the most part, right?
Right.
I mean, if you're going to nice places, you get a bad piece of cod somewhere for sure. But with this brisket, the brisket at Bartaco was outstanding.
I feel like the brisket at Bartaco is better than half the barbecue places
at the barbecue
around here.
Places, yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely taking Bartaco there. And then the chili lime shrimp taco. This thing was outstanding.
Yeah, you like this one.
I did. And so I'm not usually a huge shrimp guy to begin with. I like shrimp. Mm-hmm. My wife will order shrimp, like jumbo shrimp. She'll get shrimp cocktail. She'll do it as a meal. I don't do that. Like if she orders it, I'm going to eat it. I don't not like it, but I don't typically order it. But this thing, it sounded good, right?
Yeah,
like just the description of it sounded good. So I went with it, and it was, so now talking about spicy and different levels of spicy, our salsa with the chips and salsa had a kick.
Right.
Okay. My bald head was sweating.
It was.
like halfway through this taco. I had to like start wiping the top of my head off.
I had to put glasses on. I was getting that gleam off it from the sun
Nice
and
glare
yeah.
off the dome. Yeah, hey, it happens. That's a risky take when you have lunch with me.
True,
You know, anywhere outside during the day. So, you know, nice freshly shaven head. You know, I just picked the wrong time. I should have waited another couple hours to shower.
It happens.
So, but yeah, no, it was fantastic. The spice, it was spicy for sure.
Good spice though, right? Like
Great.
not too much.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, I think it could probably get a little intense for somebody that doesn't typically like, you know, something that's hot.
Spicy, yeah.
Yeah, it could probably get a little bit more intense. But for me, I mean, and I'm not like going to like these wild wing places and ordering the hottest wing on the menu either. It's not like I like that.
You just like some kick and some spice.
In a regular restaurant, yeah, give me the spiciest thing you have.
Yep.
You know, but I mean, I'm not gonna go to a hot wing place and be like, yeah, I want the out of the 100 levels, I want number one. Like, and no, I'm not doing that.
I mean, I'm also not getting the one that I have to sign a waiver for.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not doing anything like that. I don't like that much spice, but yeah, at a regular restaurant, I'm gonna take like the hottest thing, like and
Right.
love it. And this was good. It was perfect.
Awesome.
So
And they do have a lot of options on the menu as far as
Yeah,
what they offer
they
for
do.
tacos as well, or bowls, or appetizers, everything from street corn to chip salsa, guac.
Yeah.
They have good desserts too. We didn't have any that day, but they do have good desserts.
Yeah. Well, next time I'll try the desserts out. We knew that we were going next door, so
We went to
we were going to
Christie Cookie
Christie's,
next
so
door, and we knew it, so we didn't keep going.
We couldn't dabble in that day. But yeah, I mean, as far as tacos go, I mean, just like looking at a couple of things. So they had a spiced chicken verde, seared chorizo, mushroom with queso fresco, like a cauliflower one.
Their cauliflower one's amazing too.
And there's still more on there too. But I mean,
Yeah.
just to give everybody an idea, I mean, it all sounds good.
In the
Roasted
bowls,
duck.
same thing. They do like a roasted duck bowl. They do
Yeah.
the tuna. They do the ribeye. They have a ribeye taco, and they had a ribeye bowl. Just really good options, and they have a little bit for everyone.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought it was outstanding. So
The
I mean,
ambiance there as well. It's very, I'm gonna say hip. It's very white. It's very bright.
right. Yeah, it's
Everyone wears
bright-
white pants
exactly.
and like blue and white checkered shirts. The staff that work there, everyone's super friendly, and they do have a bar. The music is definitely on as
Yeah.
far as like you can hear.
You can hear it.
You can hear it.
But it
it's a little
wasn't-
louder at night. During the day, you can still
Yeah.
have a conversation and be fine.
Yeah, it was. We were two rows away from the bar, and
Yep.
it was fine. Yeah, no problems there with the sound. But like you said, you could hear it. So
Good music, at least.
Yeah,
I mean,
everything was
we
good.
are in a music city, so.
I have nothing bad to say about the place. I don't want to compare.
I was just
The
gonna say
two.
I don't want to compare that and Mojo's or any
No,
of those
'cause they're
other
different.
taco. Exactly.
Yeah, they're different. You can't really make that comparison.
Right.
But I compared the tacos themselves. Doesn't mean I like one place over the other. Like it depends like what you're looking for. You know, they're definitely different atmospheres for sure. So
Absolutely.
and I like them both. So
It is street parking only.
it is.
So,
But
you
it's
know,
not that bad.
It's not bad at all. I mean, there's a lot of side streets. It's
At
you
least
got 12
during
South
lunch.
and just side streets everywhere off it, so it's not bad. You can easily find a spot within a couple hundred feet.
Yeah, it was lunchtime, and I mean, it wasn't
We had
packed.
no
but
problem.
No
Yeah.
problem. And it was right around the corner. So I
Right.
think it was like 2 minutes it took me to walk.
Yeah, it wasn't just enough time to eat the brookie.
Yeah. To only eat 2 bites of the brookie before you just couldn't walk anymore. So
Exactly. So what do you think? As far no comparison wise, just going into this, into Bartaco, what would you rate it as far as just your experience?
yeah, I mean the whole experience itself was great. I don't think there was a negative. I mean, I tried the sweet tea that you had too, and sweet tea was good. Like the way that they do everything there, I like the way that you order. I like that there's call ahead seating or like app ahead seating, right? And you can kind of get in that way, and there's no wait or maybe a little bit of a wait if you need it to be, but the food was great. The wait staff was great. I mean, honestly, I've got nothing bad to say. It's going to be one of my higher ratings.
Same. This is first or second restaurant we ever came to, and when we started me and my wife started visiting here, and we just kept going back over and over and over because it's a solid restaurant.
I'm trying to think of something that detracts from the rating. You know, it's like I can't think of anything major. All right, the one I'll give it to you, and it's something we already just talked about. So, and I've detracted from scores because of this. So I guess I have to be fair. The parking, because it doesn't have parking.
I've had,
and I did this.
That was easier
like
that day.
Dicey's.
I've had issues before parking there, and where I had to actually drive around multiple times until I found one.
Now, having driven around and found parking and like seeing where the rest of the parking is and everything. Now, again, like I said in the past, like I'll sort of base these things off of what I bring my family there. Mm-hmm. I mean, other than the fact that my kids won't eat any of the food that was there just because they're spoiled brats. But
they don't have filet mignon on there.
Yeah, so filet. The filet taco. No. So, but I mean, if I was going to, I absolutely still would.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is family friendly too.
Yeah. I mean, unlike some of the other places that it's a little bit too tough to find parking and get into, things like that. No. I mean, I think that this one's fine. I would definitely do lunch. It's not like I would try and bring them there at like 9:00 at night or anything like that, where I'm sure it's going to get a little bit busier in that area on the weekends and things like that. So, but yeah, no, I'll take away half a point off of what I was going to give them. And I'm still giving them an 8. So
I'm at a 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, for me, it's just a solid restaurant.
It is.
Food, I've never had even a remotely like average meal there. It's always been phenomenal.
No matter what you get.
Exactly. Yeah. No matter what, it's always been extremely good. The drinks are good.
Yeah.
Everything there is good, and it's just you can be in and out quick if you want, or you can sit there all day if you want. It doesn't even matter.
Nope, it didn't. I was a huge fan. I might go back today. So we went a few days ago. We didn't just go today and then tape this. So it's been like 3 days. I think I got to go back.
The funny thing for me is I tend to, so when me and my wife first started going there, I'm telling my friends, I'm like, oh, there's this place called Bartaco. It's unbelievable. They're like, oh, that's a chain.
Yeah.
I go, what?
Yes.
You would never know going in here.
Right.
And it's a chain. I think they're only in like 12 states, and there's not a ton in those states.
Not a ton, but I mean, that's a pretty decent amount of places.
I mean, it's a decent-sized chain, yeah. But going in there with the way that they decorate the ambiance, how good the service and everything is, it feels like it's like the only one that exists, and they take a lot of pride in what they do.
Yeah. And like we were talking before, and he had mentioned like margaritas, right?
Yeah.
So like anybody that's ever been to a margaritas, like, that they've got like, it feels when you walk in like, oh, there's 1,000 of these.
100%.
You know what I mean? And you're going to walk into every margaritas and it's going to look exactly like the other one. And there's no difference. You're going to get the same thing, but it's all the same low quality thing. You know what I mean? But this does not have a chain feel at all.
Incredibly fresh, products, and it's really good.
Yeah, and a lot of times the area makes the restaurant too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's a great area. So, having this place in that area, I mean, that helps for sure. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, nothing bad to say for me. I'm still detracting half a point for the fact that it doesn't have a parking lot, which is, I mean, normal in that area anyway. So,
and same. I mean, for me,
I just had to say that because I've said stuff about parking in the past. So
for me, 8.5. If I start getting up any higher, I mean, I don't know if for me there's a perfect taco or a perfect Mexican restaurant. So or at least I haven't had it. I feel like an 8.5 is like you absolutely have to go there. It's a great place. And
I love tacos, right? So I try and I search out Mexican places in most cities that I go to, and these stack up. I mean, 100%. So again, like we've mentioned, even with Mojo's, is like I've spent time in California, Texas, places like that, and you get tacos. Like those are authentic, legit. Like,
and we have those here too.
That's not this, but for what this is, it's outstanding.
Absolutely. And I mean, mentioning, Mojo's again or Bartaco, they all have their own kind of flavor. Yeah. Mojo's, you get a craving for Mojo's, not, in particular, like that style of food. And you get a craving for Bartaco and the atmosphere.
And
same
the atmosphere, because they're different.
Right.
So the tacos are different. The atmosphere is different. It's like I'm more of a more of a Mojo's feel today. You know,
Mhm.
like I want that type of crowd, that setting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or, you know, do you want to go to the Bartaco setting? So
Right.
completely different, which is why I don't want to say, oh, this is this is that, and I'm comparing the two, kind of like what we did for, you know, the Crumble Krispies Christie's episode. So
Right.
like, again, those are a little bit different, tough to compare, but still you can compare those, you know. So but yeah, I'm not going to compare them and say one's better than the other. I think that they're both good, and I think that I would probably stick with, if I did have to choose,
Mhm.
I would probably go to Bartaco, but it all depends on like what mood you're in, like you just said. So
And I think, it definitely is like that. Like yesterday I had Mojo's and I was like totally different flavor, totally different taste, but
But it's still good.
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
So it really depends on just, it's kind of like pizza or something like that. Sometimes you crave a style of pizza.
Exactly.
So it's very much like that. And this place is amazing. If you're visiting or live here and you haven't been, if you live here, I know you've been there.
Yeah,
if you're
definitely
visiting,
go check it out.
check it out.
Yep.
So
Anything else?
no, I'm good.
All right, me too. Yep, definitely go check it out. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
Download our episodes on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Nashville Scoop Podcast. I'm at The Nashville Realtor and Craig is at Real Estate Rockstar.